Well, hello. I thought I'd do a little fermentation update with some exciting news and some very sad news that I only just figured out now. It's so sad. Anyway, the other night, almost a week ago in fact, I did multiple experiments and then some things I knew that would work out. So I've been brewing kombucha over and over again. I think I'm in my 5th cycle this attempt. And the first few attempts were just very straightforward flavors like berry or citrus. Oh, actually the citrus one didn't work out so good. And so this time I thought I would go a little bit more crazy, and so I did 2 bottles of pumpkin spice, which is a big thing in America but not so much in Australia until just recently. But it's basically pumpkin puree, nutmeg, and the other things in pumpkin spice. Cinnamon, maybe something else, and then some extra sugar because the pumpkin's not like naturally sweet. And so I kept that out of the fridge for 2 days and then in the fridge for 2 days. And with, like, I don't know if you can see it, but it has a lot of chunks. And so at first I was like, no, this is okay. And then Camilla was like, oh, the chunks are gross. And I was like, actually, yeah, the chunks are gross. And so we strained them and it was heaps better. Although I found it a lot richer. So I think I could have used a little less pumpkin and a lot less of the spices. But that was fine. And then I've got another bottle in there now, which is just apple cinnamon. And that again, I should have gotten 100% apple juice or just used apples with a bunch more sugar because it just wasn't that special. And then I think I put too much cinnamon. I need to do like levels better, like go under what I think and then keep it in the bottles longer. And so I kept that in the bottle. And then the second bottle of the pumpkin exploded when I opened it. It was so funny. Pumpkin just went everywhere. And I don't know why. Maybe I left that out of the fridge too long. But it was super tasty and it was a lot more fizzy. And I loved the fizz. Then I got apple juice to try apple cider using my Gingerbug SCOBY. Which, this is dead, I think. I haven't added anything to it for a while. So I should start again or just wait for a bit. And I added some yeast and some sugar. But once again, I just did it from the eye. Like I didn't think recipe. I was just like, oh, whatever. And so 3 days in, the balloon was going nuts, but it just smelled so much of yeast. So I put way too much yeast in, I think. And once again, I used the same apple juice that was just reconstituted and it was rough. I need to get better at reading the Lithuanian because I know the words that mean from concentrate. But I just go from the 100% juice sign. I'm like, oh, good. And it looks pretty nice. But now I've found in the store where the 100% juice is. And I've got to find some friends who have like an apple orchard who can provide me a lot more juice. And some honey. I want to try cider soon. Then I tried gira, which for non-Lithuanians and non-Russian speaking, or maybe it's a Slavic thing, they say it's called kvass. It's pretty much just bread beer. Like you put dark, like rye bread in water and sugar and then just wait till it ferments itself. And then you can use sultanas and you can use other stuff, I think. But it was my first attempt, so I just wanted to keep it basic. And I watched this YouTube channel that's a Lithuanian who speaks English real good and subtitles it. But it's him and his grandma doing all of these recipes. And it's so cute. And so I took their recipe, but I just didn't do it very well. And so it ended up smelling gross. And then I thought, Camilla thought it was not enough sugar, so I put sugar in and rebrew it, and it looked cool because it fizzed, but it just tasted rubbish. So I'll try that again. But it's funny because it was originally invented just to hey, we've got leftover crusty bread. What do we do with it? Oh, we'll chuck it in water to see if we can make a drink out of it. But now I'm like king of the hipsters. I just want to try this drink, so we just bought the bread on purpose for that. So it wasn't like stale bread, it was like toasted in the oven bread, which cracks me up. And then I wanted to, I think it's called lacto ferment, some chilies to make a chili sauce. And because chilies are sort of expensive and you can't find super hot ones here. I just thought I'd do a dummy run because I've never fermented things with salt. It's just a salt brine. And so I put it in thinking, oh, I'll just leave it for a week, and I put it in this cupboard and didn't check on it. But I just took it out now and it's got like gross mouldy floaties in it. So that's depressing. I wonder if that's because of the weight I put in there. Like, what makes mould? Or is that mould? I'm going to have to Google that straight after this. Then I've got more kombucha brewing. And then yesterday I finally got my homebrew kit, which I've been thinking about for months. Like at the start of quarantine, I was like, I should get a homebrew kit because I'm going to have so much time on my hands. But I didn't get it until this week. It was funny getting it, but I put it on to brew last night and it's already bubbling. Bubble, 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 bubble. It sounds so good. And it was so stressful last night because it's something that I've been wanting to try for a long time, so I got really excited. So the whole time of putting the brew on, it was like, oh, have I cleaned enough? Am I doing it right? And basically it's just a kit, so it's just the malt extract, the right amount of water and sugar, and you mix it and make sure you don't put any trash in it. But it's still so tense. And so it's a Belgian white, and hopefully, well, it'll be ready in, 6 weeks? 4 or 5 weeks. And then after that, I hope to try some darks and then get it to a point where I can happily brew like a black IPA or something. And then I might upgrade so that I'm actually making the malting process myself. And I'll learn, I think. I'll make some friends. But there's this cool homebrew shop up where I used to live, and the guy speaks English fine, and so he emailed me in Lithuanian asking me, what did he ask? He didn't have the giant spoons in stock and he was wondering what I wanted, and I was like, oh, just throw in some other stuff then. He was like, alright. And then the delivery boy yesterday, because I was working and I had to like figure out what time he would come so I could put myself on like personal time and run downstairs, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll be there in 10 minutes. I'm like, oh sweet. And then he's like, oh yeah, I'm almost there. And I went outside and he wasn't there, and I was like, where are you? But this is all in English because at the start he said, I'm about to get there in Lithuanian, and my brain just seized, like, how do you say that I'm upstairs and I need to go downstairs? And so he's like, what did you say? And then realised what was happening and asked us to change into English. It was so funny. I love experiences like that. So, I have to figure out this. Like, it is bubbling, but it's definitely mould. That's so sad. Could have made hot sauce. So I need to find a little weight that isn't gross, which I found out just recently. It's a huge thing. So there's actually technically invented weights that you weigh down your doodads with. That's fascinating to me. Anyway, so fermentation update. There should be another one in like 2 weeks when I bottle. I've got to figure out how to siphon things, or figure out why people don't like the sediment in their bottles, because I remember Coopers used to have sediment. Is that the same thing? Who knows? Ooh, I'm going to make a coffee. Alright, bye!